Welcome to Keep What You Earn, your judgment and jargon-free zone for entrepreneurs of all levels. Get ready to learn how to scale your business, save money in taxes, and create a business that grows your wealth. If it feels like the financial side of business is like eating your vegetables, well, then think of this podcast as the ranch dressing to make the process a little more enjoyable. My name is Shannon Weinstein. I'm a CPA and business owner on a mission to simplify money and empower others through knowledge. I hope this episode inspires you to take action, but remember that the information we share is for educational purposes only and is not individual tax advice. Now that we got that out of the way, let's start the show. I'm pretty sure one of the biggest fears of any business owner is running out of cash. Cash is the lifeblood, it's oxygen, it's what keeps your business alive and going. It's also, what enables you to make those big investments, to be able to level up in your business and to be able to reap the benefits of your business and grow your wealth. Cash flow is everything when it comes to a business's success. And one of the ways that we look at cash flow is we look at not only inflows, but also outflows. And we look at what is causing a cash leakage in your business. Now, a cash leakage isn't necessarily, representative of things that you need to stop doing. Okay. But what I'm going to do is uncover 3 of the major ways that businesses I've seen are leaking their cash, or where they're potentially overspending, also where there may not be as much of a return on investment, or where you can start really zeroing in on and zooming in on whether or not you're actually making a return on your investment in these different areas. So one of the ways that I think that businesses are leaking cash is actually overhiring. Now, first of all, I am a huge proponent of hiring a lot of help, developing people, and I truly believe that you cannot grow your business without hiring a team. It's just not going to happen. You want to build the business that can run without you. That is every business owner's goal. If they want to scale and they want to, stop creating a job for themselves, they have to replace everything that they're doing with a competent and trustworthy human who can do it for them and with them. Now, that being said, what I'm actually seeing a lot of is this instinct that if you don't want to do something, you hire it out immediately. And I do agree with that. But the problem I'm seeing is that you're hiring, instead of, let's say, expanding the role of a person and replacing a role with a higher level person, they're just hiring more people. So here's an example. If you hired a virtual assistant to do a lot of your back-end admin, and then you also needed marketing stuff done, and then you also needed funnels built, and then you also needed, social media management. Well, how much of that could you actually integrate into one company or one source of that service? And then you don't have to pay all of these different people, because you could be, if they're employees, you could be incurring payroll taxes. If they're contractors, then you could be paying additional payment fees. You could also be, just incurring other costs and having to pay everyone's full price to pay for their overhead. So think of it this way. When you pay 3 different companies to do 3 different functions that could theoretically be integrated. Let's just use like funnels and email marketing and social media as an example, right? So if you're doing like email marketing, social media, and say funnel building, what you're doing is you're hiring out these different functions. Now, number one, they may not be synchronized. So number one, you could be missing out on synergy by having these disparate point solutions, but also you are paying for 3 different companies' overheads. And here's what I mean by that. When you hire different companies, you actually are paying their prices, but their prices include their profit margin. So their prices include enough to cover what they think the value is of the product or service, and cover their costs associated with that. So they pay their teams. So when you think about it, you're paying 3 different companies' profits versus if you're working with the same company, chances are that if you're going to pay them more money, they've already got the staff assigned to your account. They've already got the tools assigned to you. They're already incurring the costs to serve you. So any additional revenue you bring to them is just extra, margin padding. So they're probably going to be more flexible with you on price because they don't have the same pressure to cover additional labor costs potentially. So I want you to explore the idea of integrating and creating synergy in your team by really giving yourself a good hard look at your org chart and saying, hey, could somebody actually manage all of these things together, as opposed to having one person doing video editing, one person doing a podcast, one person doing your social media, one person doing your email marketing? And we just recently integrated this over the fall in 2022, where I hired a fractional CMO, and under her company, she's doing all of that with us. She basically owns the whole brand of Keep What You Earn at this point. And that was one of the best decisions I could have made. And it saved me thousands of dollars a month just to have her on, because what it did was it eliminated time, confusion, additional costs. And it was just a great move overall to streamline our business and to, help with cash flow. So I can't encourage you enough to consider if you're over hiring for the different roles that you have. You don't need a new person for every single specialty. You can find someone who is, 80% good at everything you need, and that is enough to get you by. And that may be the solution for you in order to maximize your cash flow. So the number two thing that I see as far as cash leaking is I see a lot of people investing a lot of money in, I'll call it coaching, masterminds, and mentorship. And again, I'm a huge advocate for always having a mentor, always having a coach, always having this in place. But I think that what happens is people are investing based on their cash balance and saying, I can totally afford this $40,000 mastermind, or I can totally afford this $2,000 a month coach, or whatever it is. And yes, you can afford it, but you have to look at your cash flow plan and look at, well, wait a minute. If I engage with this person, what will I get back from it? Right? Will I make any literal money from this mastermind? Will I walk away with a client or two? Will I get certain opportunities? Like, what will I be doing in order to get an ROI on this? Because I see a lot of business owners engaging in these mastermind communities, these groups, to satisfy a need for community, or to satisfy a need for, honestly, keeping someone company, right? And having a group around you, or having someone they can go to with questions. And that is fine. But you really have to walk away with, what is the business case for why I should be in this room? Will I walk away with new opportunities? Will I walk away with new relationships? Will I walk away with new clients? What will that look like? Because I'm seeing a lot of money on, how would I put this? Like, cover your blind spots through coaching, when in reality, it's like, well, that could have been a new hire. Like, instead of getting more advice from a business strategist, you could have hired that person. You could spend that 50 grand on hiring an actual person to do all of this for you in your business. And people don't realize the opportunity cost of these types of experiences. And I do believe that they're good in moderation, but I know a lot of folks who overindulge in these types of things. And I would highly encourage you to set yourself, I'm going to use the B word, but set yourself a budget every year for paid networking opportunities / paid publicity opportunities. I'll be the first to admit, and I'll do a whole episode on this if you guys want, but I'll be the first to admit that I now have a paid podcast budget in my spending plan. So when I look at my cash flow for the year, I actually allocate a certain amount of money to pay to be on podcasts, or to pay to get in rooms, or to be a part of opportunities, because they are hugely lucrative for our business, and they help build the right types of relationships, because the more people I can share this message with, the more people I can talk to, and the more people who can hear my voice explaining this stuff, the more my brand will grow. So if I need to pay for more ears to listen to me, I will do it, because I know that when you hear these episodes, when you hear me talk on a stage, or when you hear me speak, or you hear me on another show, like, I know somebody's going to resonate with that message, and it's worth it to me. So where I'm going with this is, you should absolutely have some type of budget or spending plan in mind in order to generate interest, and to create relationships, and to build community. But I think that you have to watch the overindulging. You have to be careful of spending way too much money to get in rooms with certain people or paying for proximity to people, and instead cultivate real relationships organically and see where that takes you. I just know a lot of folks who will pay to be in certain rooms, and they'll pay over and over and over again, and the next thing you know, they're out of cash and they wonder why. So just be careful with those types of expenses. Now, number three, the token one that I always bring up is advertising. So a lot of entrepreneurs right now are online trying to sell their product or service. They're spending a ton of money on paid ads. And unfortunately, paid ads is it's like a gamble for me. For me, it's like a slot machine. You're putting money into these ad engines and you're just hoping to get certain results, especially if you're new to this game. It's really, really challenging to understand the strategy. Now, I encourage you to listen to my episode with Daria Katenko. We did an entire episode about ads, and it was hugely enlightening for me. But what I see business owners doing is they're going really hard on this paid ads thing, knowing that they're going to pay a bunch of money to maybe an agency or through Facebook ads to get some type of return. Now, what they don't realize is if they're not getting the right metrics from these agencies, and this is what concerns me, if you're not getting the right metrics from these agencies, you're not sure if you're actually making money. So if you're spending 10 grand a month on ads, but you're making 7 from it, you're losing money. And there's actually negative cash flow there. So you have to make sure that if you're going to be going all in on ads, that you have a proven strategy, you have content that converts, that really works for you. And more money is not going to create more results if you're not honing in the actual content of the ad. So I would highly encourage you, if you are looking at ad spend, be careful of how much cash you're leaking in that ad spend, and really explore whether or not you can infuse more organic marketing into your business. I'm not anti-paid ads, but I do believe that paid ads have a place in a solid strategy that includes organic marketing. I don't believe paid ads are a one-size-fits-all solution where you can kick back and not worry about your personal brand and not worry about organic marketing, not worry about showing up. I don't think it is the solution. I think it is an element of your strategy. So if you're looking at advertising, just be careful about leaking cash through this channel as well. This is where I see a lot of business owners spending a lot of their money. Now, if I had to allocate certain percentages, I would say you want to be roughly, now I'm again, broad brush here, guys, but you want to be roughly targeting to spend about 30% of your revenue on people, on hiring. I would say between 20 and 25%, maybe 30, depending on your paid ads and depending on what types of ad strategies you have or advertising. I would say advertising and marketing will be somewhere between the 20 and 30% range of your revenue will go towards that. And by now, here we are already spending up to 60% of our revenue between people and advertising. So remember that is a lot of money. And that is where a lot of the money is going. It doesn't leave you a whole lot of wiggle room. It doesn't, in terms of, crafting your margin and making sure you're bringing home enough money for yourself. So you got to be really careful about over hiring and spending too much on labor costs. You got to be really careful about spending too much on advertising. And you've got to be conscious of how much you're spending on coaches and masterminds, because that's eating at the margin you have left over after you pay your team and for ads. So again, when you're looking at your spending plan, your cash flow forecast, whatever you use to help predict your business's financial health, I would encourage you to take a look specifically at these 3 areas, because I think you'll uncover some new opportunities and be able to claim back some of those costs. Now, if you do take a look at this and you actually did, please tell me, let me know. Send me a DM. I'm at Shannon K. Weinstein on Instagram. You can also shoot me a text message. My number is 860-609-6374. I would love to hear if you're applying any of the advice from today's episode and you were just able to discover any, income that you can claim back for yourself. Are you an accounting or tax professional trying to grow your firm and wondering how to not only offer high-ticket services, but get clients to line up to buy from you? Learn how to let go of the draining clients and deliver massive value for the clients you want to serve. It is not about more accounting and tax courses. It's about showing up as a leader for your clients. The best way to learn how to do that is to see how other leaders in the industry are showing up and seeing what's possible. If you want to get in the room with me and hundreds of other fractional CFOs and learn from folks who not only achieve the results, but live and breathe what they teach, I would love to invite you to the CFO Accelerator Live hosted by Michael King. This will be May 16th through 18th in Dallas, Texas. Michael built his own 7-figure fractional CFO firm and hosts the CFO Report podcast. He and his team of trainers and mentors will help guide you through their 7-step framework to building your dream firm. Click on the link in the show notes and score a special discount exclusively for Keep What You Earn listeners. Grab your spot now before they sell out. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a rating and review on your podcast platform. This small action goes a long way for podcasters to get our message heard by more business owners just like you. Be sure to check out the show notes for links to information about our guests and ways to get in touch with me. We'll see you on the next episode.